Hey guys, it's Jack. So, as some of you who know me know, or can discern from the title of this video, I'm hiking the Pacific Crest Trail this summer, 2025. So, tomorrow I fly down to San Diego on May 20th. May 22nd, 2025 is my official start date. And I'm going to make my attempt at making it the whole 2,650 miles. So, I thought it'd be really interesting to do a before and after video and then some like after thoughts when I get back. So I do have, this is going to be the before video obviously, so I have all of my starting gear, and I want to go into that and kind of show some of my thoughts and philosophy here of why I'm carrying what I'm carrying, and we'll see how it works, because I know what the gear that I start this trail with is going to be different than the gear that I end with, but I think I have a pretty good stab at a start here, and you can kind of see this is kind of what I've got. Currently dry, no food or water in it, so we'll break it down here and we'll show what we have. So as far as on-person gear, I'm not going to be carrying a whole lot on me. I'm going to have my trekking poles, which these double as my tent stakes, or my supports for my tent. I do have some duct tape preemptively wrapped around both of these, so I have that in the field in case I need it. I could use that for reuse it for repairs. I could also use it as a fire starter if I need to. So I have my trekking poles. I'm going to be carrying mechanics gloves on me. This is from experience. I just know I want to have an actual mechanics glove. Some kind of nice, actually durable leather glove I can use for also handling hot things like my stove, or if I am around a bunch of sharp rocks and stuff. I want to have a good pair of gloves. So I'm going to be carrying that, even if it's a little bit heavier than some of like the sun gloves could be. In my pockets, I'm just going to have my phone, and I'm also just going to have like my Bluetooth headphones for when I am using those, and my belt obviously. For my pants, I was going to use these like REI convertible pants that were shorts and long pants, but I've decided to here last minute switch to these 511 pants that I have. They're a little bit more durable, and I don't think I'm going to use the shorts, especially the desert section. And I think these are going to hold up a little bit better. They also support my belt better. My belt's a 1.75 inch belt, so 1.5 belt, and it's a little hard to get my belt threaded through the other pants. As far as my shoes, I am using Salomon's like Street Cross 6. Is what they are. They're trail runners. I also have the trail running gaiters on my pants, and I also have the Injiji toe sock liners, as well as just normal wool socks over those on my feet. So that's the feet, that's the pants. As far as I have for my main t-shirt, I have this kind of almost like a mesh finish MO5 camo pattern t-shirt that I like because it should dry out really well when it does get wet. So that's gonna be my main layer touching me when it's hot out. And then I have this sun shirt, which is nice. It has the thumb holes in it as well, which I can use. Carry my Casio watch that's always tried and true, so I'll know what time it is. And as far as my hat, I just have this like boonie hat. The one modification I did do to it is I added some safety pins to the back of it just so I know where they are, and it will just be easy because I like to use safety pins a lot in the field. I find them pretty handy, so I just want to have those there. So I have those there for now. We'll see how I like it. But that's kind of the on-body stuff. So as far as the pack, let's try to get an official dry weight of the pack. So using my luggage scale here, currently sitting, this is currently 29.1, which is definitely a little bit heavy for a base weight. But I have a lot of capabilities here, and we'll dive into the actual gear in here and why I'm carrying what I'm carrying. So I keep a lot of stuff stored externally on my pack, where it's nice and handy, so I don't need to carry as much stuff in my pockets. So on my shoulder strap, I have a camera with a quick disconnect. This is my Sony a6400. This currently has the prime 50mm lens on it. So this is my camera. This is one of my luxury items. This is one of the things driving up my weight. But I want to have my camera. In this front left pocket here, I have a buff. I have a 16 to 50 lens for my camera, so I have that. And then also in this pocket, I have a Ferrocerium fire starting. In case I need this, I can use it to light my stove or to light a fire in emergency. And then I also have a lens cleaning cloth for my camera, so I can use that. And I also have some disposable hearing protection in case it is loud and I'm trying to sleep at night. I have that as well. So I carry that in my front left pocket here, and that's there. Immediately behind this, on the left side, this is my poop kit. So I have a little aluminum spade that I can use this for digging a little cat hole. And then I have my toilet paper also there. So that's like nice and external. So I can just drop my pack and I don't have to dig into anything in order to get to that when I need it. In this pouch behind it, this back left pouch, this is my water pouch and some miscellaneous tools. So in here, I have a Platypus Quick Draw. This is my preferred water filter that I'm going to be bringing on the trail. I have the 1 liter dirty squeeze bag for it, which I can also use for carrying additional water on longer water pushes. I have the adapter in order to flush that and do back flushing with one of my smart water bottles. And then also in the back here, I have attached, and they're also lanyard in, I have one of my tools. This is a Leatherman Juice S2, which is a relatively small Leatherman and offers a lot of capabilities. It has scissors, screwdrivers, an actually decent set of pliers, a small utility blade. So I'm going to have that on me there. Also tied back in here, I have a whistle that's tied to me as well. And then I also have my nail trimmers as well in here. And these are also tied on because I really don't want to lose these because taking care of my feet is going to be very important here. And then I also have a couple additional sets of ear protection back in this pocket as well where I can get to them. So that's the left side of the pack. Over here on the right side of the pack for me, in this front left pocket is where I'm carrying a bunch of small little useful items for me. So this is where I'm keeping my headlamp. So this is one of the Nightcore UL25s ultralight. So this is a super lightweight headlamp. This is gonna be my main headlamp on the trail. I also have a small Right in the Rain notepad. I also am carrying my compass. This is a Sun 2 compass. I also have a small USB-C rechargeable flashlight tied to this compass. One of the things I like about this compass is how it has a mirror in it. So if I mess with the light, so if I have like a problem or something on my face, I can easily use this in order to see. So that's one of the reasons why I have this set up. And this is my redundant flashlight. It's not a whole lot, but if my headlamp does die, it's enough for me to try to get my headlamp plugged back in. So the ultralight headlamp and this very small rechargeable light, these are my only flashlights I'm bringing. So I'm gonna have those. In this front pocket, I also am carrying a couple of spare batteries for my camera. And then in the back part of it, I'm carrying a small pocket knife. This is a small Benchmade mini Gripillion. So I'm going to be carrying that. Again, I do have 2 knives. I could probably leave that, but I want to have an actual pocket knife. It's to be nice and handy. I have a couple Bic style lighters, so I'm going to carry those. I have a small vial of Advil, so that will be useful to have, I'm sure. I have a tube of chapstick on me as well. I have a Right in the Rain pen to use with a notepad, and anytime I'm like at any kind of place I need to take notes or do whatever. This pocket behind this is where I'm keeping my inReach. This is a Garmin 67i, so this also has redundant mapping and stuff in it in case I do really need it. I will have mapping in here, and this is also my satellite communicator that I can message directly through. And then this back right pouch is where I just kind of keep some more generic stuff. It's mostly empty, but I have a small towel that I can use for cleaning stuff in there. And that's actually currently the only thing in there. So if I do get like a couple extra small items I want to keep more readily accessible, I can put them in there. And then also on the sides of each, I have 2 smart water bottles. So I will have 4 liters of water easily accessible on the outside of the pack. So that's kind of what I can get in reach from the waistband without actually having to dig into the pack here. So on each side of the hood, I have these small little carabiners. Typically, I normally use these when I'm mountaineering in order to like secure my ice axes to my pack, which we'll see when I get to the Sierras if I do need an ice axe by then. But regardless, I like to have these. It'll be good for hanging stuff externally to the pack if I need to dry anything. So I have one of these on each side of the pack secured. Getting into the hood, below this on top, I'm keeping my sit pad. So So I will have this readily accessible. So when I do stop, this will just be a nice little bit of comfort item to have a small foam pad to sit on. We'll save the hood for a minute and we'll do a deep dive into that. Inside the main pack itself, I have this. This is my food bag. Currently is empty, but this is where I'm going to keep my food, and it has a small carabiner on it I can use to tie off in order to suspend this in the air if I'm camping and trying to get my food away. I have my cook set here, which is this small titanium cup. So you see it has the bail handles on it. It has the lid, and then in here I have my small BRS titanium stove that folds up, and then I also have a small cleaning cloth that I will use as a rag to clean my cup, and then I will also store a small fuel canister inside of this when I'm using that, but I'm not going to be flying with fuel, obviously, so I will have to grab that when I get to California tomorrow. So there's the cook system. I have a very small, packable, lightweight Patagonia rain jacket, and I have added additional silicone waterproofing too. So this is going to be my rain jacket for the trail. I do have rain pants, but I decided not to put them in the kit. If I do need them later, I get them sent to me, or I could find other ones. But I am just going to have the rain jacket as my main external waterproofing layer. I have my Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite inflatable pad. So this will be good. It offers a pretty good R value. This is going to be my garbage bag. I'm going to keep all my trash in this. This is a Six Moon Designs packable little deal. This is my sleep system and shelter. We'll get to this in a second. I have my quilt. This is a Sea to Summit Ember. This is a 30-degree quilt. So it is not the warmest system, but I believe it will be adequate for me, especially starting off. We'll see later if I do need to get a little bit extra warm. But this is going to be my quilt system. Then we'll interface to my pad. This is my clothes bag, which we will get to in a minute. This has my down puffy jacket in it, in this dry bag, as well for my clothes. So again, and if it is cold at night, I can use this in conjunction with my down quilt in order to stay a little bit warmer. And then I also have basically just a garbage bag in here to keep a little bit extra waterproofing if it is wet. In the back of this container where my Camelback would go, I'm not bringing a Camelback on this trip, even though I normally like to use Camelbacks. I just don't want to have to deal with it and cleaning it, and it's going to get nasty. But if I do have a bigger water pushing to hold more water, I have this collapsible, this is a 3-liter Hydro Pack water container. And then I also have a 2-liter Platypus squeeze container as well. So this is also some of my redundancy in case my 1-liter squeeze bag for my Platypus Quick Draw fails. This will just screw directly on. And if this fails, I can dedicate one of my smart water bottles to be a dirty water bottle. I would prefer not to do that. So I do have redundant this. And then, so that means between the 3 liters of this 2-liter bag, my other 1-liter dirty bag, and the 4 smart water bottles, I do have the capacity to hold 10 liters of water, or 2.5 gallons, which should be, I believe, more than adequate for any of the bigger water pushes. Even with the late start and getting through the desert, I know there are going to be points where I do have to carry a lot of water, but that's how much water I'm going to be able to carry on me as is. I at least do have 10 liters of capacity. So that's what I have there, and that's basically all I have in the main internal. The rest of everything I have is stored in the hood. So in my shelter bag system here, which is a Z-Packs stuff sack, I have my tent, which my tent is a Six Moon Designs net tent. I think it will work pretty well for me. It's kind of a 2-man tent. It's going to be pretty big. I also have my Sea to Summit inflatable pillow stored in here. So I have my pillow, I have my tent, I have this little bag which holds my tent stakes. So these are just the tent stakes I need for my tent. And then in the back of this I also have my Tyvek ground sheet stored, folded up. So this has everything I need when I get to camp. I can just pull this out and use my trekking poles and this, and then I'll be able to set up my tent with my stakes. I have my ground sheet, I have my pillow in here. And then from there it's the matter of pulling out my quilt and my inflatable pad, and I basically have camp base. So this kind of folds up pretty well. I used to try to separate the net tent where you had the tarp and the net tent part separate and fold those up, but I've since realized it's easier just to leave the tent assembled and then just stuff the whole thing into this. And it's a little bit bigger like this, but it does compact down, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem. So this is kind of like my tent system bag. Again, this has my down puffy jacket in it, and in my clothes bag here, in this other dry bag, I immediately have my little beanie with a pair of wool gloves. So if it's cold at night, this I can get a little bit more warmth out of. I have 2 extra pairs of wool socks. So I will have 3 pairs of wool socks total with me. And then I also have 2 more sets of the Injiji toe sock liners. So I have 3 sets of those. So I have 3 sets of toe sock liners and 3 sets of wool socks. I believe that will be enough, but we'll find out. I have an extra set of underwear, nothing fancy, so I'm going to have 2 sets of underwear. I'll have to be replacing those at some point along the trail. And then for my additional layer, in case it's cold, or also going to be like my sleep system, or like my sleeping clothes, is I have these very lightweight kind of like base layer for leggings. And then I also have this Under Armour long sleeve shirt. So at night I can just use this to stay in and sleep in this if it is warm enough, or if it's really cold I can wear all of my clothes together, which again is going to be, this is kind of the base layer. I have the pants, I have on the upper layer I would have this Under Armour, then this t-shirt, then this sun shirt, then the down puffy jacket, and then the rain jacket, and then the beanie and wool gloves. So that's going to be kind of all the clothing I'm going to carry with me. So we'll see how that works. If it does get colder at some point along this, I might need to add a little more clothing, but I think this should get pretty close for that. So that's all the internal of the pack. So now we'll break down the hood. So as far as the hood, there's the top and the back pouch. In this back pouch here, I keep, this is my electronics kit. We will get into this in a second. There is the 55 to 210 millimeter lens for my camera here. So this is my 3rd lens. And then I just have a garbage bag in this. So that's what's in that one. And then in this pouch, this is my valuables pouch, which we'll dive into this pouch individually in a second. I have my medical kit, as well as a cat tourniquet that I'm going to be carrying here. We'll get into that in a second too. I have a mosquito head net. I have another small Dyneema stuff sack that I can use for whatever, when I have a purpose for it. I'm going to add this just in case I think I'm going to need it. I have my titanium spork. This is a Snow Peak design that I will be carrying this. I have this small bag that has some of my like hygiene items in it. And then I have my sunglasses in this container. And then I also have my PCT Class of 2025 bandana that I got from Triple Crown Outfitters. So that's what's in there. So we'll dive in a couple of those little kits here individually. As far as the hygiene kits goes, this is just another one of the Dyneema Z-Pack stuff sacks. In here, I have my sunscreen that I will be needing for sure in the desert. I have this container has my soap in it, which is just a like, I believe it's a Dr. Bonner's soap. So I have a soap bar in here. So that will be what I'll be using for hygiene. I also have my toothpaste. And I also have a small travel toothbrush. The one item I do not have in here currently is a small disposable razor. That is one of the items I still have to add to my kit. So that is what's in the hygiene kit here. So that's my hygiene kit. Again, I have a tourniquet. In the little medical bag here, I have some medical tape, not a whole lot. I have a small Mylar emergency blanket. I like to have one of those on me. I have an NAR compressed gauze, just one of these. I'm really hoping I don't need it, but I do have it. I have moleskin here, so when I do get blisters, I'll be able to use this. I am carrying, I believe, 50 of the aqua tabs, water purification tabs. So this is also going to be redundant water filtration, so I can use this to sterilize water or also if I have a really sketchy water source, I can use this in conjunction with my filter to try to make sure I don't get sick. And then I have a very small little boo-boo kit here that just has some Band-Aids and a few little pieces of like gauze and stuff. So that's what I have in here, and that's basically my whole medical kit. So not a whole lot, should hopefully be just enough in case I do need anything. But I didn't want to go super excessive on the weight there as far as medical gear goes. So in the valuables kit here, which just is a Maxpedition organizer pouch, I have a little bit of repair gear on this side. I have some extra string. This is the same string that my tent uses. So I believe I have 50 feet of that. I have a handful of cut down zip ties to use for various repairs in case I need those. I have a small roll of electrical tape here I can also use for repairs. I have my wallet here. I have my PCT permit and my California fire permit in here in a small Ziploc bag. In the back here, I also have my passport in case I end up needing that along this trail. I have a small little kit here, and then I also have my extra SD cards. So I have nearly 3 terabytes of flash storage with me, so I'll be able to take a lot of pictures with my camera. And then I also have another disposable set of hearing protection in the back here in case I need those. So again, there's a bunch of SD cards, and then in this small pouch here of like repair items, I have a very, very small sewing kit, and I have a few additional safety pins, needles, a little bit of thread. So that should hopefully get me through any pinches as far as gear repair goes. I have a couple of these alcohol wipes that can also be used in conjunction with some of my little repair patches here, in case I do have a problem with like my sleeping pad puncturing or something. I can use this in order to try to repair that. And I also have the small pieces of repair item that came with my tent that I can also try to use to repair my tent if I do develop a problem there. And then the only other 2 things I keep in here is I keep a pair of tweezers in case I need these. I'm especially concerned about my being around like cactuses and stuff like that. And I also have my Z-Packs, like 1 gram tick remover in here as well. So hopefully I don't run into ticks, but you never know. So I am prepared for ticks as well. So this is my little small micro repair kit I have there. And then nothing too fancy in the wallet. This is just gonna keep my ID cards and stuff like that, and small personal artifacts. So this is my electronics pouch. It's a little heavy. We'll see why in a second here. I have to be careful here because I have my number on it. But I have my battery banks. So I have a 20 amp hour and a 10 amp hour anchor. So I have a total of 30 amp hours of battery. So this is all the battery I'm anticipating bringing. Hopefully that'll be enough. I have also in here, I have my Kindle e-reader. This was one of my other luxury items I'm going to bring, so I'll be able to read books along the trail. I have the charger for my camera batteries. I have my 128 watt wall AC adapter with 3 USB ports on it. USB cable. I have a couple more USB-C cables. And then in the back here, I do have a 12 volt adapter. So I have this, as well as a couple more small USB ports. I have a couple micro USB ports, just because my camera does use a micro port, and just in case, you never know. So I do have, most everything I have here is going to be USB-C, but I do have a couple micro cables in case I need those. That is the electronics kit. Yeah, so if you made it this far in the video, thank you guys for watching. This is my gear, so this is what I'm going to do this with. Again, like I said, I ship down to San Diego tomorrow, and we'll be en route to Campo. And yeah, May 22nd is when I'm going to start hiking north. So this is going to be a trip of a lifetime, for sure. I'm going to learn a lot along this trail, I'm sure. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of stories, make a lot of friends. But I figured I'd at least bring you guys along here for the gear side, just because I do think it's curious to always see kind of what the starting gear looks like, especially here in a few months. Hopefully we'll be able to make an after video and kind of see what worked, what didn't work, and see what we can learn together. So again, thank you guys for watching. This is Jack, and yeah, I'll be hiking all summer.